Hello, everyone. This is the Dragon King. Welcome to Dragon King 72 Media LLC. Dragon King 72 Media LLC on YouTube. Dragon King 72 Media LLC on Instagram. Dragon King 72 Media on X, formerly known as Twitter. And it may end up on TikTok too. I'm not sure. But let me, if you've seen the caption, you know where I'm starting, where I'm going, and where I'm going to end. Let me just say that sometimes when people get success, it goes over their head. Some people, when they get success, they go bankrupt. Some people, when they get success, they create this bubble around them, and is only needed from their fans when they want their fans to buy the albums or some other type of material wares that they are selling. Now, Durand Bernarr, he is a talented singer. He recently won a Grammy. I don't know if it was 2026 or 2025. It probably was 2026. And you know, he has a great voice. He's a great talent, and he won that Oscar. He recently posted something to the effect, and I'm summarizing here, that when he's out in public, he doesn't want nobody talking to him or coming up to him at all or saying anything to him because it's overwhelming. Now you can imagine his comment section. I believe it was on Instagram because I searched for it on X and I couldn't find it. So here's the problem what I have with it. And I'm going to just be blunt. And like I said, I like him. I like his music. He's extremely talented. But here's what it is in a nutshell. Brother, you've been here all of probably 5 minutes. You've been here probably all of 5 minutes in Hollywood on the music scene, because 2 years ago, nobody knew who you were. A year before that, nobody knew who you were. A year before that, nobody knew who you were. While I respect the fact that you want some type of privacy, you cannot have your cake and eat it too. You've been in the music industry from a mainstream perspective for all of 5 minutes. All of 5 minutes. And here you are acting like, you know, you've been in the business, you know, for 1,000 years. If Whitney Houston was alive, you would expect Whitney Houston to be saying, I don't want to speak to nobody. No one speak to me in public. Don't come up to me. I'm not taking any pictures, right? Or Michael Jackson, or Janet Jackson, or, you know, some of our actors that we have out here, Denzel, or Halle Berry, or anybody like that. And I think that come on. Come on, Duke. Come on, babe. Come on. He's been, like I said, Durand Bernarr, he's been here all of 5 minutes in the music industry. Most people, you know, like the people that I mentioned, you would expect them to have established that type of, I guess, nuance with the public. And I'm not saying that that is right at all, because it's not. But, you know, these days, you're going to have to do more for your fans. You can't just say things like that to your fans and they go along with it. They go along with that. You know, you're gonna say you're overwhelmed. Don't talk to him. Don't look at him. Don't come up to him. Are you like, brother? Then you need to leave the business. Durand, Bernarr, you need to lead the business, brother. This ain't hating, because I'm a fan. I love your music. I love your style, your vibe, your energy on stage. I love all of it. My first encounter with you was you were singing backup for Erykah Badu, and she when you had did that solo, you know, that was the first time you had took off your shoes and did that solo. You know, as one of her backup dancers. That was the first time I seen you, and I immediately I fell in love with your voice and your talent. You know, but I mean, you got to humble yourself, brother. You have to humble yourself. You know, you really have to humble yourself. You ain't been in this business long enough to be saying shit like that. You have to humble yourself, or leave the business. Just leave. You know, or better. See, this is how you know people are not talking to their public relations people. You hire those people for a reason. You hire them to convey your wishes, the things that you want to say, but in a way that's, you know, won't ruin your brand, won't tarnish your brand. You know, especially early on in your career. Yeah, you're a rising star. You ain't one that's already in the skies. You know, that's just, you know, I'm sorry to sell it to you, but that's the best way I can put it. You are a rising star. You are not one, come on, let's go. You are not one that's already in the sky. I mean, yeah, brother, you are a rising star. You are not one that's already in the sky. You know, you need to understand that. And I understand that, you know what I'm saying? See, that's how you know some people are not used to their celebrityism. Stop. Some people are not used to their celebrityism. And this just proves that you are not. This also proves that you cannot handle. You know, what if you become more famous than this? You won't be able to handle your celebrityism if you can't handle a few people asking you for an autograph or coming up to you and saying hello. I get it. You know, saying you want privacy sometimes, but I mean, you know, you can't. A lot of people in your status, you know, you can't determine what that's gonna look like. At least not yet. You know, I know that sounds crazy, but you can't determine, not yet, because there is, like I said, you just getting started. You know, you pay your PR people to convey messages that you cannot convey the way you should. You know, and I think, come on. A lot of you will get famous and just don't know what you're doing. You have no idea what you're doing. All right. Stop it. Stop. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. So, but I definitely see why your fan base is split, because you do not have the option this early in the career to, you know, say things of that nature. You don't, I don't think, I mean, yeah, I understand you're an individual, you want your privacy, brother, but you must have known that coming here and into, not coming here where I'm at, coming into Hollywood, and that it wasn't going to be, you're going to have to deal with some punches. It's just like if you're an actor, you know what I'm saying, until you get your big start, you're gonna have to wait tables. You're gonna have to put up with bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to take jobs. And in your case, you're gonna have to, deal with a lot of these fans. When you're tired, when you're not. You know. I just feel like you don't drop the ball, brother. You know, you had an opportunity to say something like, okay, this is not for all the fans, clearly. But sometimes I may not feel like taking a picture. Doesn't mean I don't love you for loving me. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean that I don't appreciate your support. Just some days, maybe I'm not prepared. Maybe I'm not ready. Hell, I could be, got a call for some, or, you know what I'm saying, want to blow my nose or something, or just want, to get somewhere. You have to make that a thing, but clearly, your PR people who's supposed to be looking out for you would have never let you say what you said. Because I know if I was and I have a master's degree in public relations, I know I would have never allowed you to say what you said. I would have said, hey, send it to me. We'll get the message out, but we're going to do it, in a more politically correct way. Because this sounds like, you only want your fans to support you when you got a project and it needs to be sold. They need to come see you out in concert. This doesn't sound like somebody who appreciates his fans, who understands that it's because of the fandom that you are where you are. So if I was you, brother, I would go and retract that statement and apologize, but still convey the same message, but just do it differently. Because this right here, what you did is a PR nightmare. And the fact that, let me say this, this way, no. And let me put this way also. You are and let me say this, and I'm gonna try to go as easy as possible. You are a openly gay black male who is a musician, and it seems to look like you have been accepted by the heterosexual community a lot more than your predecessors ever have, who tried to come out as gay and black in the music industry, particularly within the black space of the music industry in Hollywood. So consider yourself blessed, but I really truly believe you have misdirected. You have misdirected what you thought, was going to happen with that PR message that you put out there. Like I said, you being gay, you being black, openly gay in this business, getting the respect that you are getting, that is a blessing. Because again, most predecessors who are gay and black before you, they didn't get this. Frank Ocean, hasn't gotten the type of respect from the heterosexual community that you have.